Hey everyone, welcome to Matt's Movie Reviews. Today I'm doing a very, very late overview of Venom. I've been concentrating on my retro reviews of late. They've taken up a hell of a lot of my time and I haven't been able to go and get to see this film. I was a little bit resistant about going to see it on the reviews, Catwoman, you know, bad, etc. But I thought I really wanted to see it. So this film stars Tom Hardy, the great British actor, character actor Tom, who's had some success in Hollywood. He obviously starred in Mad Max Fury Road, and he was in The Dark Knight Rises playing Bane with Christian Bale. Obviously in both of those films, he was sidelined. In Batman, you wouldn't have known it was him. And in Mad Max, he got sidelined by Charlize Theron. Even in the posters, he was in the back and she was at the front. So, but obviously he still did a great job in that film. But this is kind of his first sort of Hollywood where he takes the lead, if you know what I mean. So Tom plays Eddie Brock, who's a down on his luck reporter, fallen into trouble with the Life Foundation that just happens to own the company that he's working for through information that he's found out from his girlfriend, Anne, who's played by Michelle Williams. The Life Foundation is run by a guy called Carlton Drake, who's played by another British actor, Riz Ahmed, as everybody would know, was in Rogue One, Star Wars story. Plays this kind of millennial entrepreneur. He's gained far too much wealth and he can do what he wants. And he's set up the foundation for what I think is the Starfleet base from Star Trek, the motion picture. So the rest of the film sets up the creation of Venom as a character. So Eddie's this down on his luck reporter. He gets a tip off from one of the workers at the Life Foundation that they're doing all these experiments on people to get these symbiotic creatures to bond with them to create the master race type of thing, so they can go off into space and create the generation of the future led by this Carlton Drake character played by Riz Ahmed. It turns out there's only a certain amount of people that can actually take the symbiote in, and Tom's character, Eddie, seems to be one of them. The film takes a long, long time to introduce these characters and get things set up before it really kicks in. Michelle Williams' character of Anne is kind of like a plastic version of Pepper Potts from Iron Man and the Marvel universe. I don't know if it's the wig that she's wearing, but she's very plastic in it. I just don't get the performance in it. I don't know if it's the type of thing that she's suited for. Michelle, I'm used to seeing in things like The Greatest Showman, etc. But yeah, it's not the best performance. But Tom's character and his performance, I thought it was pretty solid. It's the story that lets them down at the end of the day. And I think probably the movie's a little bit underfunded. I think the budget was between 100 million and 120 million. And at the moment, as we speak today, it's broke some records for October and it's sitting around about the $410 million box office, which is pretty healthy on a return of $100 million. Ultimately, the story is pretty old-fashioned. It lends itself to things like The Incredible Hulk or Iron Man even from 2008. And it's the old story trope. It's a really old-fashioned thing now. It's one thing that really winds me up in films, a really unoriginal stories, is that the main villain in the film, in this case, Riz Ahmed's character, Carlton Drake, just so happens to come across another symbiote who's slightly more powerful than Venom. Then a huge battle ensues, before he's trying to get up into space on this big space shuttle thing that's parked up, as I say, on Starfleet's bay in San Francisco. The CGI is absolutely horrendous. It's almost like some old PlayStation game that I used to play in the 90s. A part of it reminded me of the Lawnmower Man. It is so bad. It just really lets everything down. The strength of the film is that Tom's character and his portrayal is really solid. The comedy falls flat sometimes, but there's something strange about this film it's not even it's so bad it's good. It doesn't fall into those realms. But there's something I felt maybe his character portrayal as Venom and Tom, the relationship with those was quite good. And ultimately, we're talking about a guy that's literally talking to himself in more ways than one, because he provided the voice of Venom as well. But it must be just something that, you know, that he can do as an actor. He makes you believe, it makes you believe it, and there's almost like a friendship there that happens. It's really quite sweet, I suppose, in a way. That's some of the strength of the movie. Unfortunately, the story's a bit of a mess. It takes too long to get going, and then when it does get going, it just falls into the same old tropes like I mentioned earlier. I'm guessing that on the back of this there will be a sequel, because there's an intention to marry the two universes together, the Sony universe and the Marvel universe, and eventually we may get to see Venom fight Spider-Man. Obviously the end credit scenes have been pulled across, as well as Stan Lee's cameos in these things, that there will be another film, and Carnage is hinted to being, you know, in that, which is another symbiote who's got another backstory. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. I think the successes of this at the box office will be too much for Sony to ignore, and they definitely will make another film. Tom is signed on for 2 more pictures. I'm just hoping on the next one that they invest a lot more money into the CGI, because that's probably the worst part about it, as well as the story, by the way. The direction by Tobin Fleischer is he's not bad. He's, you know, Zombieland was a fairly decent film. The action sequences are held together quite well. And like I said, this isn't so bad that it's good. It's just so bad in some areas. But there is a little affection for the character for me with Tom's portrayal of it. I think there's definitely some scope there. But for a film that sets up a Spider-Man villain without Spider-Man is always going to be a little bit of a difficult one to sell. But hey, who knows? You know, worse films have made a lot more money and had sequels. You know, especially a lot of them this year as well. So who knows what's to hold for Venom? Like I say, if you haven't seen it, give it a bit of a go. You know, it's not War and Peace or anything, but it's a bit of entertainment for a couple of hours. And if you can excuse the badness about it and look at the good stuff, like they say, like a turd in the wind, you know, it's got its possibilities. I've just done a retrospective on Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. Check that out if you haven't done already. I'll put the link up there, because my next video is going to be on the new Halloween movie. So once again, guys, thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing to the channel if you don't. The channel's growing slowly, and getting some good feedback on my stuff. So thank you for that, for everybody that comments or likes or shares my videos. And you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter if you want to get in touch with me that way. That would be good. I do some updates on there just to let people know what I'm doing in the future. And thanks for watching.